Okay guys, Papa Sam here, and today I thought I'd just make a Q class tier list. Um, this is prior to the update, but I'm still gonna take that into account. So without further ado, let's start off with it. I'm gonna start off with the first guy, the guy everyone hates because of Tori, Ghost. Um, I'm just gonna analyze every character, then I'm gonna put them into the list. So let's think about Ghost. He's really easy to use. His grenades just got reworked, so now they're more accurate. They're not just random like it used to be. If you throw it in a certain spot, it's guaranteed to go to that exact same spot like it did last time. So that's pretty cool. Low skill level player, only played with the tutorial. He's not bad, but at the same time, he's not so good that he can carry a team. He can only carry a team if the enemy team is not as experienced. Because let's be honest, Ghost is really easy to take out. He has not too much health, only 170, 175. Could easily get headshot. But Ghost is very fast. He can move in and out of places easily. He always does decent damage at just about every range. I've never had a time where he's done crappy damage from far away. You can really hide behind a tree and shoot. Moving on, grenades. Those are really good. They're really strong, 60 damage. They did get nerfed. They used to do up to 80 damage, which that's okay. That was basically almost all of Sheila's health. There's no reason that should happen. But now it's about half Sheila's health. Ghost, like I said, it's very versatile. You can use him range. You can use him to do a full-on push. He can attack from the front or the back. He can duck in and out of cover, especially with his grenades. He can just throw those to pest the enemy team. He can cook them. Moving on to his ult, very, very good. It's very good at canceling out areas. It's better than Cyborg just because the fact that Cyborg is you're completely immobile. You have to be really precise with your aim when you're aiming it. But Ghost, you can time out each bomb by placing one, then placing another later, then placing the very last one at the last second to continue on the duration instead of just spamming all three. If you're spamming all three, you're trying to cancel a big area. Otherwise, you're just a noob. So and now let's get on to Ghost's weaknesses. He's not good with targets who are up in his face. I'd say it's very hard to track targets who are far away. In fact, if you don't have any tracking skills, or minimal tracking skills, it's very hard to play Ghost. So I do have to acknowledge that. But otherwise, Ghost is basically an all-around clasher. Anyone can play him. There's no one who can't play Ghost. So I guess I'll put Ghost. I'm gonna say I'm gonna put Ghost in B tier for now. I don't know if he'll get worse or if he'll get better after the update. Because after the update, a lot of classes are gonna change. So many. But yeah, for now we're gonna put him in B tier. I know a lot of you are gonna be pissed off about that. Maybe even Tori will be pissed off about that. Jin probably won't. It's Jin. Let's be honest. Moving on to Sheila. Lowest HP clasher in the game besides Zad. Thanks for that, Golly. She moves very fast. She's the fastest slasher in the game besides Ghost, who sprints. But even then, she rolls, so she does outspeed him in that part. She's like Scout, except she can't double jump. She can roll every second. She has a very high damage output. And if you see people like Pika play, you'll know Sheila's a very, very dangerous clasher. Sheila's just about as good as, just about so good. Any clasher has a reason to be afraid of her. Any clasher, Decker, Cyborg, Rascal, Sir Knight, Reaper, Zad, Ghost. Even Cyborgs and Sir Knights have to be very wary of her because all it really takes is 2 good meat shots and then you're scared. You don't know what to do. You're just panicking at that point. She has a really high damage output. I'm pretty sure she's 80. She can do a max of 80 damage per shot if she's up in the target's face. And the thing to note that Golly said he was gonna fix the way clashers aim. For example, the way their engine's set up right now, it's basically to the point of where if a clasher, you have to be at 0 meters away from the clasher. So basically inside their body to do the max amount of damage, which is why people like Sir Knight, don't always do the 45 damage, only 44, because it's physically impossible to be inside somebody's body in Q Clash. It's not possible unless they make that a mechanic, but they're not. So they're gonna fix that. So they're gonna make it to where within 7 or 6 studs, you do that full amount of damage. They're gonna modify that. So Sheila's definitely getting more powerful in the update. But very strong, very versatile. Her rolls save her in a lot of situations. Um, if you've seen Robux's Q Clash Academia, you can use rolls to get up to certain spots due to the fact that how it works. Since whenever you're rolling at the end of a slope, you get launched up into the air. Cool mechanic there. I know Gala said he was gonna make. Gala said he really wanted to make that a mechanic, which I would agree on that. That would be really fair to Sheila since she doesn't have that many gimmicks except for rolling and her ult. But yeah, it's not too hard to aim with Sheila, but if targets move sideways, it gets difficult because it's hard to predict. But her ult, moving on to that, moving on to her ult, it's really really good. It's so good because it does pretty sure about 150 damage, and it basically one shots deckers, it one shots Reapers, Zads. Her ult is just so powerful because it one shots 4 out of the 8 different clashers, which is really really good because it helps with a lot of situations where you have like people grouping, or I had 5 out of the 8 clashers, but it really does a good job of taking out people who are grouped up. And the best thing about it, people aren't gonna have enough time to react, which is also the worst part about it. You don't have enough time to react, but it also punishes you for getting too close to your teammates in the first place. Like, there's no reason you should be all up in each other, which is why this ult is so good, because someone's always going to make a mistake of getting too close to their teammates. For example, after a push, you may decide to stick close to your teammates so you don't die, because you don't want to get stragglers. Another thing, Zadina, or Sheila is perfect for just going in and out of action, better than Ghost, since she can roll, and she doesn't have to worry about sprinting. Because with Ghost, you always have to sprint to get out of those actions, but with Sheila, you can roll, and like that's one of her most powerful things. That's why she doesn't have another ability. That's why, because that's on its own really powerful, and she has such a high damage output too with her shotguns. She reloads the full clip in one, which a lot of clashers do. So I can't really. That was kind of dumb to say, but I'd have to put Sheila in just S tier because Sheila's really good right now. I'd probably say has the highest damage per second, unless you're counting Cyborg with rockets. But really, she has such a high DPS. She can do about 160 damage in a second and a half if you aim your shots correctly. So, really good S tier right there. If you have disagreements or arguments on any of these, I understand. Please put them in the comments. I really would like to know what your opinion is, guys. Really. But yeah. Moving on to Decker. Yeah. So Decker, he's very. The problem with Decker is that he's really accuracy dependent, and I know recently, a couple months ago, Golly made it to where his crosshair was way more accurate. So like, say this was where the middle of the screen was, like where the point in the center of the screen of the crosshair is. This is like these little 2 lines right here. This is like the 2 lines for the crosshair, like where the crosshair expands like in a circular way. But this was the point where the bullet came out. It used to be like they would go anywhere in between these lines as they expanded, but now it's more centered around the middle, so it's way more accurate now. And that was really helpful because it was way easier to hit your shots as Decker. You didn't have to worry about always shooting slowly to shoot accurately, because let's be honest, either you're going to spam hammer down, or you're just going to try your best to hit them accurately. And no one wants to shoot slow when they have to shoot fast to hit the target. So he is a little easier to use now, but he really is skill dependent, and that's what makes him such a hard clasher. Because if you can't aim, you really shouldn't be playing him, because you're gonna end up in a lot of situations where you're trying to hit that shot, but you're not. And since you missed a lot of those shots, they realize you're behind them, and they kill you because you can't hit those shots. So he's really inconsistent, I'd have to say. Unless you're people like Tim, Robux, a couple other Decker pros, like you see those people, you see them hitting their shots, but yeah, you have to be really, really skillful to hit them. So yeah, especially with headshots, as a mechanic for Decker, since they do 100 damage, you should do 102 damage, but that was back when Decker did 35 damage. So yeah, they did nerf and buff him at the same time, but that 2 damage wasn't making a difference. Let's be honest. Moving on to his ability of Cloak. Cloak is a really good ability. It's basically about as good as it gets. You turn invisible instantly, instantly. You leave a couple smoke clouds behind, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure you don't bump into people. I'm pretty sure you're really skinny. Being Decker, so you don't get a lot of situations where you bump into people. You may see a lot of situations where like someone just randomly shoots in an area and they see you and they track you. Like, let's be honest, if you're Decker, since you get that extreme speed boost, since you go about as fast as it goes when you're cloaked, and you're cloaked for about 9 seconds, so that's really a long time. You're cloaked for 9 seconds. You are completely invisible to the human eye. As contrary to the brother game of Q Clash TC2, where you can kind of see them. But you're completely invisible. You can sneak past enemy lines. Nothing notices you. You can basically instantly decloak too. There's about half a second before you can attack, but it's really instant. So like you could instantly kill someone if they're running away. He's good for side attacks, back flanks, as obviously. Yet again, it all comes down to if you can aim though. To be honest, in most cases you don't have to aim because you're invisible. You got the surprise on them. They're busy doing something else. So as long as you're doing your job as Decker, attacking people who are busy, you can pretty much hit it. Decker's right click, hammer down. I'd have to say it's decent. It's not the best thing, but it's decent for now. I know Gully's gonna make changes to that too, so expect that. But I just have to say that he's really just it's really just an ability. Not a lot of people use. Like I did a poll. I asked a lot of people, hey, how do you use it? And they said, I really only use it to take down turrets. I don't really use it on players because it's just so inaccurate and it's unreliable. Like, it's cool that you can shoot all 6 of your shots with the remaining bullets left in your clip, but like, it's really inaccurate. Only the first shot is accurate, and it only does a max of 23 damage, and that's only enough to kill a Sheila. So like, you have a better chance. You honestly might as well just be trying to hit the headshot because even if you hit a headshot, you can still shoot after that. Because yeah, it's really fast. Like, the only time you should be using it is if they're really up close in your face and you're gonna die otherwise. Like, it's a last resort, and it's not a good last resort. It's not very accurate. It doesn't do enough damage to be considered accurate. Like, if it did 30 damage up close, I think it would be more reliable because that's a lot of damage. It will scare people away. It'll definitely make them think twice about getting too close to you, but at the same time, if you can't aim it, you shouldn't be getting too close to them either. So, yet again, aim reliant. Next up, talking about his ult. His ult's great. It's great if you love annoying the mess out of people. I'm gonna be honest with you, yeah. His ult, perfect way it is. Just the problem of a lot of the time people don't use it for the right means. Like, you'll see a lot of people using it to get away from a sticky situation. I know some people use it to get to higher points on the map. So there's that too, but like yeah, it's good. It can cancel pushes really easily, but you have to use it when your team is there. So Decker is one of the most skilled required players in the game. I'd probably say he's the most skill required, just because if you use him perfectly, like Robux, Tim, a bunch of other people, you're always going to succeed. But that's the biggest problem. There are only very few people I can name that use him perfectly. So for that, I'm probably gonna have to put Decker in C tier, and it's not because he's bad per se. It's just the fact that he has such a high skill level cap. It's just too hard to play him. So yeah. Moving on to our second premium clasher, Cyborg. So there's a big meme going around. Cyborg gay, Cyborg. Just in general, just sucky. Cyborg's trash. Just like the Ghost Hard meme. Cyborg, really, the thing is about Cyborg, he's been through the rework machine a lot of times. He used to have rockets as a complete secondary. Like, he would switch his gun from firing bullets to rockets and then back. He used to have single fire with bullets, but now he has multi-fire, so he shoots multiple bullets that do like about up to 8 damage at the closest of range. And now his rockets are still the same, but he has 3. That's good. But let's focus on the minigun right now. So first up, minigun, really powerful, especially at close range. But the problem is, yet again, you gotta have a little bit of tracking skill to aim it. But like, you're gonna be using it at mid to close range, so it's really powerful. Does a lot of DPS per second. Like, best thing about Cyborg, if you catch the enemy off guard, you're gonna destroy them, 100%. Like, if you catch them off guard, unless they're a Reaper or maybe a Sheila, maybe a Decker, they're not getting away. Unless they're these 3 classers here, they're not getting away. Like, even Ghost, those can't get away because you're just gonna like do the little bit of knockback with the rockets. So yeah. But moving on to Rev Up. Rev Up is broken right now, but Golly is fixing it. Don't you worry. It will. In fact, I'm pretty sure Golly is getting rid of Rev Up. In fact, after you start shooting, you're not even gonna be able to Rev Up anymore. After you start shooting, like after after a second and a half of shooting the gun, it'll fully speed up and shoot at the normal pace. And trust me, Golly's getting rid of the multi bullets. Singular bullets are coming back. So, yeah. But does a lot of damage with bullets. Rev Up, broken. So really, you're always gonna be able to shoot your gun instantly. So don't even worry about it till the update comes. Rockets do a decent amount of damage. They do 40 damage, which is really good. Really, really good. Most of the time they only do 39. But they're really good at getting rid of Sheilas, doing splash damage to multiple targets, but a lot of the times you're using it for Sheilas. So it gets rid of targets, Cyborg's main enemy, which is really, really good. So yeah, moving on to Shield. It's also really good, but it's really, really good. A lot of people don't know it, but like Shield's actually really good when you're at low health. Like if you were to activate Shield around a bunch of teammates, and like per se you had like 10 health and you had 3 teammates around you. If you activate that shield and the shield starts shooting you, there are a lot of times where it will literally do 0 damage. I'm not kidding you. It will do 0 damage. So like, Cyborg's a little bit skill based on the fact that, you know, shield can really play a big difference in a fight depending on when you use it. So yeah, shield and rockets, they're all good, really versatile. But the problem with it is it's easy to abuse because it's really hard to get rid of someone who can shield themselves, who can shoot rockets at you to shake up your screen and make it harder for you to aim if you're a sniper or Decker or someone else. Really hard to play against, really hard to play with in a lot of cases, just because it's a two-sided deal. Really hard to play against, really hard to play with, because everyone's going to be going for you. They're going to ignore your team and go for you because you're the biggest problem. So, yeah. Now getting on to his ult. I'm going to be honest with you. Take it from someone who played Cyber for about 50 hours. It sucks, let's be honest. Everyone knows what a Cyber ult does. Like, let's be honest. A lot of people aren't just going to sit inside of the red light wondering what it's going to do. At that point, they're really just dumb. People are able to avoid Cyber ult. The only way they can't see a Cyber ult is if they're inside of the ult. So, like, you have to combo people to ult them nowadays. A Cyber, like a Reaper charge shot combo with the Cyber ult, or a Decker ult with the Cyber ult. Like, no one's falling for the ult anymore. So the ult's absolutely useless. The only thing it's good for is area denial. So, yeah, I know. And yet again, you have to aim it. I don't know why, but its aim is off. So, like, even though your crosshair is facing forwards, it may go a little downwards. That's just the way the beam is. Just because the beam comes out of where his cannon is, not where your crosshair is. So remember that. So I guess I'd have to put Cyborg for now in B tier, and I'll say this before I put him down there. He's definitely gonna get a big serious buff later on because he's gonna be able to store 3 rockets at once and launch them all. But at the same time, he's also gonna have to deal with the fact that he can't shoot at the same time. So like he'll take a couple seconds to load all 3 rockets, then he'll fire them all instantly. Kind of like for some of you who know TF2 or at least TC2, the Beggar's Bazooka or the Wrecker's Yard, store a bunch of missiles in there, then fire them. On top of the fact, Golly also said that missiles and grenades will do damage to the user if they're too close, just to add a little bit of that risk to it, so they can't just throw it at their feet or shoot at their feet. So that's another thing. His armor will also be working differently. It will, I'm pretty sure once you activate armor, it's based on the damage you do to the target. And once you do that damage to the target, you get armor based on the damage you do as like kind of like a regen. So it'll like regen on you. So that's another cool thing. So for now, I was gonna put him in C tier, but for now I'm gonna put him in B tier just because of that rework that's coming to him. He'll probably move up to A tier after the rework, to be honest. But I'm putting him in B tier because he's a lot easier to use. He's one of the easier classers to use. Moving on to Rascal, one of my personal favorites. So Rascal, you got the scrap cannon. It's really good. I bashed on it in the stereotypes video, but it actually is decent. It's good for deterring Sheilas. It's great for deterring Sheilas. It's great for deterring people who are getting up close in your face, because you can just flick shot with it since it comes out the side of the screen, so you don't have to always get the crosshair on them. In fact, as long as they're close enough to you and the crosshair's on them, it's gonna hit them. It does about 45, max 50 damage. Yet again, it only does 49 damage at max unless you're hitting a non-living object. So yeah, it's really good. It's good for harassing enemies at a far distance, which is great. It's actually really great because, let's be honest, it's a lot of damage for something, especially since he has 12 in the clip, and he can basically do up to 600 damage to shields, turrets, a bunch of other things. So like, he's great for taking down turrets. He's great for taking down shields, knight shields. Just amazing at that. So yeah, really good clasher. I just had to say, Scribe Cannon's one of his best attributes. Moving on to Shotgun. I know I talk about Shotgun every day about how it's so good if you can aim it, and it is good. It does about 72 damage per hit, which can two-shot Sheilas and medics, which is what a lot of people tend to do. Like, they tend to go Rascal, harass medics and Sheilas. They pretty much harass everybody on the enemy team, which is what Rascal, hence his name, is so good to be able to do. He's able to harass people with Shotgun, especially since Shotgun has knockback, so you can knock enemies back with it. You can harass the medics and other people by doing damage. Since the Scribe Cannon has arc, but the Shotgun, it's great for taking out people up close. It does a lot of damage. It does knockback, so it's really good at pushing people back. The downside is it's really hard to aim because the spread is just ridiculously wide. There's a lot of times where like people just run past you, which is really hard to aim. It's even harder to aim than Sheila's gun. And Sheila's gun's pretty hard to aim. It's not easy. But yeah. Moving on to his launch pad, it's awesome. It is a great thing about Rascal. I know people have proposed speed pads, teleporters, but launch pad's really good in the state it's in right now. It gives you a vertical velocity, or that vertical. It gives you a choice of where you can send your teammates. It gives you the vertical choice. It gives you just a choice of getting there a little bit faster because you're jumping there. You could use it to escape, but often that doesn't work because they just destroy the launch pad. But it can be used to get to some seriously good places on certain maps, like crazy good places. I won't even mention some of them because it's just ridiculous and amazing to be used. But yeah, and then the turret. The turret is it's amazing. As long as the enemy team is incompetent. I keep on saying this. Turret is great as long as the enemy team is incompetent. Even if the turret isn't actually alive for more than 10 seconds, it's still a distraction that the enemy team has to take care of, because no one wants to get 30 damage done to them every 2 seconds. You can use it whenever the enemy team is distracted because your team is pushing, so it's great to go behind enemy lines as Rascal as long as you can make it. So, but the state Rascal right now, who's great. People don't think he's great because like he's so squishy, but the main thing about Rascal is you're not supposed to get serious in the fights. You're not supposed to be you're not supposed to be at the front. You're supposed to be like in mid to back. So like yeah. But he's great. I'm going to put him in A tier because he's a really good clasher. Yet again, he does not take a lot of skill to use. You just have to know good turret spots and be able to decently aim the weapons he has. So, yeah, I'm going to put him in A tier. So, Sir Knight. No, we're just going to... I'm joking. But, Sir Knight, really good clasher. We'll review his build. Oh, you know what? Forgot to mention Rascal's ult. Sorry about that. His ult's great. It's a shield. You used to be able to place it on the cart, but you can't anymore. I don't think Gauls are working Rascal for a while now, so there's nothing to worry about with that. But yeah, his shield, that just gives him another reason to be an A tier. It's really good. You can just put it down instantly. It blocks the entire point. You don't have to stay inside the shield. You can move out of it. In fact, you can just place it down on top of a turret to protect the turret for the time being. You can place it inside of a point, like a doorway or a gate, to stop the incoming damage. So like if a cyborg was pushing and like you just wanted to stop it, just place the shield on top of him or in front of him, like to stop all that incoming damage. So it's really good. It stops a lot of caps. It stops a lot of them. So it's really good in the state it's in right now. So yeah. Moving on to Sir Knight. Really good, versatile clasher. You can have an attack Sir Knight. You can have a defending Sir Knight. You can have like pushback Sir Knight. It's really good. But getting into his first ability, his sword. magical sword. This is a magical barrier that pushes people back. That's good, but the problem is pushing and knockback mechanics aren't so good right now. But they will get reworked in the update, so that's cool too. So that's gonna be fixed. Next up is shield. Awesome. Blocks damage for him and his teammates. It's really freaking good. It's also been fixed in the reworked engine. I know it does regen very slowly, but the shield is just good. It blocks the damage for your teammates. You can use it to block turrets or protect turrets from damage, so they can still do their job. So, for example, if your team was like guarding a point on castle payload, the first point, you could be like your engineer could have one in the corner. You could be guarding it with the shield, protect it from damage. So if they did see you, they had to worry about you with the shield with a turret and your enemy and your team on the point. So they have two different things to worry about, and they don't know which to take out first because you can easily lower your shield and kill them after they've taken damage from the turret. So it's a really good combo. So Rascal, Sir Knight combo, really good. That's what I use the shield for a lot of the times whenever I'm playing with a good, decent Rascal. Sir Knight's Leap, it's getting removed. I'm saying that now. So guess what, guys? Guess what, dice? B-hopping removed. Yeah, pretty sad. But it will be getting removed. It will be replaced with. It's thinking like the main idea here is that it's going to be replaced with charge, and the charge is not going to be the same as it was before. So the new charge is going to you're going to crash into an enemy, stun them for a few seconds, or not a few seconds, like a second. You're going to stun them for a second. But the thing is, when you hit the enemy, you're going to be able to stun them again. So the ability cooldown resets every time you hit the enemy, and they're stunned. So it's really cool. Galli's going to work it out. Trust me, it's not as OP as it sounds. He's gonna make it to where it's not OP. But yes, but Leap and the way I've used it for the past few years, it's really good. It helps Knight get to certain places that you normally wouldn't be able to get to. I hope it doesn't completely remove Leap. I hope it brings it back with a new weapon kit, but it gets you to places you normally couldn't get to with Sir Knight, and it helps you because you close that gap of distance between people who want to hide on the roof or on a high place. It allowed you to chase after people, because with charge, someone could get in your way when you're charging and stop you. But with Leap, you could jump over people to chase after that person or that medic Sheila who's trying to get away from you. You could you could do a lot of that. You could B-hop, which isn't counting on this tier list. So yeah, you could do a lot of things with that, and then it basically just helped you close the distance, break enemy lines, do AoE damage. That's what it was mainly more towards. But yeah, and with the Knight and shield leap combo, Knight is able to counter pretty much any clasher, hands down. Rascal, Sheila, Cyborg, Ghost, Decker, Zad, obviously, Reaper, just because of the shield. And Leap makes it way easier for him, too. Moving on to Electro Ball. The Electro Ball is what makes Sir Knight so good, because he has a great means of doing AoE damage, and it's not too little, it's not too much. It's just enough to to do a decent amount of damage. And 45 damage is a lot, especially since it doesn't have doesn't have a long cooldown. It doesn't have fall off, so that's really good. It has way less fall off than all the other weapons. It always says 45 unless they have armor. It can connect to multiple targets. It's infinite how many targets it can connect to. If the damage ramped up, that'd be even funnier, to be honest. But yeah, it's really good. You can use it for people who are trying to get away from you. Can't tell you how many times I've hit someone who's just run away, and they've gotten killed. I'm like, oh, how did he hit that? Really good. Knight is not one of those players who takes a lot of skill. You really just have to have a lot of experience in the game. For example, you can get experience by doing a lot of Electro Balls, learning the speed of Electro Ball, hit air shots like I do. You can do a lot of cool tricks with Sir Knight with his shield. Like you can do the Electro Ball sword combo, which basically allows you to 125 damage within a couple seconds. So it's really good. And then it's Sir Knight's ult. So Sir Knight's ult's really, really good. Except for the fact that there's a huge gap between the fact that, there's just the fact of the matter that Sir Knight's ult is bigger than it was, so that's good too. But the fact that once you use it, you can't move it. You can't get out of it because you're gonna die. And once you use it, you're stuck there, and the enemy team could easily just back up from you and stay away from your team. They could easily go behind the wall, wait for your team's ult round. And the problem is, whenever a lot of Sir Knights use it, you're always going to feel like you wasted it. But overall, it is really good. It can save a lot of situations, but the problem is just it's so easy to counter. Either someone can counter ult you, or the enemy team can just get smart and back up, wait for the ult to run out. Otherwise, I think it's good. I know a lot of things that are coming for Sir Knight is the new charge. So I'm pretty sure Golly mentioned something about like whenever Sir Knight would have a new ability, retaining more to the abyss, like where he punches the ground and like a line of abyss goes to the ground, and like once it reaches a target, like a fist comes out and punches them and stuns them. So Sir Knight's definitely going to be around a lot more crowd control later on in the update. But for now, I'm going to put him in A tier just because he's really good. He can counter a lot of clashers. He's really helpful to the team. Like, having a Sir Knight in the team really makes a difference. So, yeah. Moving on to Reaper. A lot of favorites. A lot of people try to main Reapers. That's something I've noticed. But, I'd have to say that, Reaper, pretty good. I really want to put her in S tier just because she's really good. She does a really good amount of damage. She has 4 shots. That's a lot of damage. That's over 525 damage. Pretty sure. And you gotta remember, Reaper used to be able to do 225 damage before Zadina's nerf. So yeah. But, Reaper does this really substantial amount of damage. With her rifle is a little bit hard to aim. The aiming tactic is different. The scope speed is different than most sniper games. You can't adjust it yet. I do not know if God's going to fix that, but I know he is reworking every clasher at some point, so maybe he will along the way. But yeah, the rifle's accurate as all get out. The problem is people just try to flick too much. People try to do these weird trick shots. Weird trend I've seen. But it does a good amount of damage. Charge shot makes it even better. It's ability that's unlisted. So technically she has 5 abilities. So 6 if you count her ultimate, but it's really good. People like to abuse it, so there's that. But it's really good. Otherwise, it blinds people, it poisons them. It used to just blind them, but now it poisons them too. So that's really good. Remember when it used to just blind you? So you can use it to combo with other people's ult. You can use it to combo with pretty much every ult. Except for Sir Knights. Exclude Sir Knights and Zads. But you can use it to blind them. Set up a play there maybe. There's Poison, which marks targets. You can use charge shots just in case you think there's a Decker nearby and you're trying to track him. So really good there. Then you have her Poison Cloud, which basically you just throw a projectile on the ground, poisons them if they walk over it. It's really good. Most Reapers use it for 2 things. The first one being putting on your feet, so every shot you hit is poisonous to begin with, so you don't have to charge it up for the 3 seconds that it takes. Second, people use it to mark places that the enemy team's going to come by. A lot of people use it to mark where, if a Decker's going to come behind him, if someone's going to come up behind him and sneak up on him, try to kill him, it marks them with poison, so they're taking damage, trying to get to you. Or a lot of people place it on, points or carts. So the enemy team has to get poisoned, so they had to take that extra 4 damage. Now it used to be 3, now it's 4. It makes a big difference, trust me. Yeah, moving on. Teleport. Really good ability. Really good. It can help her get to tall places. People use it for a lot of glitches to get above the map in some cases. Cool places, like in the tree, which Sassy loves to use. Gives you that vertical advantage. It's really good for escaping. Awesome for escaping. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a Reaper escape or have disappeared. And I could not find her. There are very few times that happens, but when it does happen, I'm actually dumbfounded at where she went. She's not a very hard class to use. You really just have to have game sense and experience. Just like Sir Knight and Rascal. A lot of experience needed, obviously. And their ultimate, let's get on to that. Her ultimate, really, really good. Really good. People say it's pretty sucky, but it's really not, because think about it this way. You could have, for all you say you killed the entire enemy team, and say they're going to make a split push, which is where there's 2 different pushes from 2 different sides. So when she activates her ult, you know that push is coming. You know what to do. But For example, if you didn't know, you would expect that the push is coming. Oh, it's coming from this side. But then all of a sudden, you take all this extra damage from behind. You're like, oh no, we've lost that point. But since you knew, you could basically strategize if you had enough time to strategize and try to stop that push. So that's good too. And I can't tell you how many times it's helped me with like figuring out when a Decker's about to ult because just the fact that Decker, you can see Decker when he's invisible because he has a little thing above his head. I've headshot a lot of Deckers that way. So yeah. But I'm actually gonna place Reaper in S tier. She's just really good. She's not as good as Sheila, but she's really, really good. She can't counter every clasher, but she gives so many good qualities to the team. She blinds enemies. She lets the enemy team. She blinds enemies. She can kind of poison places to do that extra damage. She can teleport away if she needs to. She can attack from behind the team completely alone. You don't even have to have a team to go with Reaper. You can be alone and do some substantial damage. Back off for a bit. Wait for your team to come back and do more damage. You can teleport away if you need to. You can let your team know where the entire enemy team is, as long as the enemy team's alive. And everyone can see it, so your enemy team can't hide. Even Deckers can't hide, so your enemy team can. Your team can know if like a Decker's about to ult. So really, really good. And Zadina. Moving on to Zadina. So, Sadina, my bad. Sadina, very, I'd say a very okay clasher. She, ever since Golly neutered her to 125 health, and buffed her healing rate, it's been okay. It hasn't been as good as it used to be because the way Zad used to be, she could take a hit. She could take anything and then have a chance to get away. But nowadays, like, you can't really survive anything. Like, you used to be able to survive 3 shots of a Sheila. Now it's just 2. So you don't have the time to react. So basically you have to rely on your team a lot more than you freaking had to. You have a lot less health to deal. You have a lot less health to work with. So you cannot let yourself get headshot. You cannot let yourself get shot at all, basically. If you take any damage, it's basically going to bring you to half your health or lower. By any of these classes. Rascal, shotguns you, or scrap cannons you. You're basically at half health. Cyborg, half health. Ghost, half health. Every clasher brings you down to like half health after a shot or 2, or instantly KOs you at that point. Like Reaper, which is Reaper's now has an easier time killing Zadina's, which I guess is okay and all, but like that wasn't necessary. Moving on, her heal rate. Her heal rate's okay now. I'm pretty sure it's 10 HP a second. It's really that low. So yeah, it's not that good. Like, you can't heal your teammates in a flash. Like, if your teammate's already taking damage and they're already lower than like most of their health, you might as well just not heal them. But you can heal up your teammates to a pretty decent amount of HP, and you do get some HP. Like, the only way to survive anything nowadays is Sadina is to heal your teammates, because you get 25 plus health from healing teammates. When you used to get up to 175 because you had 150 before, so it's decent now. But like, yet again, Sadina, she's very weak, and she has to be near at least one teammate to survive anything. So you can never play Zadina alone, because chances are you'll get gangbanged by a Sheila or like a Reaper or somebody here on this list. You will get killed. Her electricity, it's decent. You could people only really use it when like the enemy's at that low of health and they're trying to run away, and then it just fly towards them, get them with it, and kill them. And then Zadina, I know Zadina's getting a new rework where she's gonna heal a lot more. I'm pretty sure after a few seconds of healing someone, you can choose to burst heal them, which gives them a burst at 50 plus health, no matter what health they're at. So that's really good too. Her attack beam is gonna be her new attack is gonna be a beam instead of electricity, so you have to actually aim it. It has a really long range. It has double the range of the original electricity, so that's good too. Moving on to her fly. Her fly build is really good. I'm pretty sure the cooldown used to be like 7 seconds, 6, but now it's 5, so that's good. You do have a chance to fly away. You're able to keep yourself high up in places, so there is a way for you to avoid attacks. You can choose the high route, if you want to. So yeah, you can do that. And then her ult's really good now. I can't even say it's really good. It's okay. You apply like 300 plus heal rate to the target, and after that, it's over. Basically, the health rate decays, but you heal them 300% times 300% plus faster. You don't get any heal at all. Basically, you heal the same amount as you normally would, but you don't get any more overheal than you had originally. So you're completely vulnerable. But as long as your teammate wants to protect you or doesn't want you to die in them, you should be okay. But like, it's really situational nowadays. There's two ways to use it. Burst heal, like heal all your teammates in the area if they're all hurt. And then there's the way to just heal one target like a tank. Maybe even a really good player, maybe. It works. But I'd say Zadina's... I was going to put Zadina in D tier. I promise you I was. But then I thought about it. She's B to C. I say this because it really depends on your team. Zadina's just so team reliant. So I'm going to put her in C tier for now. But after the update, I promise you she's getting bumped right back up to A. Right up to A. Just because she's really decent in A. She's okay now, but yet again, too reliant on team. She can't do anything by herself. Like, she can't heal a person and then leave them alone. She has to stick with them, which is really upsetting because you don't want to, like, you always have to be with someone. And that's okay, but, like, sometimes you're with a bad player. They're not as experienced as you are. They're dying. And because they're dying, you're dying. So, like, it really does end up affecting you a lot, which is why I put her in C tier. I feel like I did everyone okay. I was being as truthful as possible. I am in this tier list. I guess I'll upload the tier list if you wanted to see it for yourself. Think about it, ponder on it. I really be redoing the tier list. As you can see, it's like prior update tier list, so I will be redoing it. But for now, this is the tier list I decided. No one's in D tier. No, even if Vale, Tori's character came out, I would not put him in D tier. I probably put him in A tier, but no one's D tier yet. Not even Decker. And Decker's considered one of the worst classes because of how hard he is to play. But yeah, I really do consider this. I'm gonna put Zadina in front there. Modify this a bit. But yeah, I really do think this is my honest tier list. If you have any disagreements or you have insights on it, please do post in the comments. I would love to hear it. Like I said, I'm uploading this so you can go based off my own or start from scratch. Feel free to send me your tier list and explain why. I'd love to read it. Open to insights. I will redo the tier list, and I'll be doing a video next explaining the updates coming to Q-Clash in the new engine. So watch out for that, I guess. But until then, guys, Bob Salmon checking out. Keep clashing.